Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It's me, Addy, again, and I hope you guys are doing alright. So today a new trailer dropped for a game that I'm kinda sorta getting interested in now, and that is Armored Core 6. We saw the trailer for this back in December during the Game Awards, I believe, and at the time I wasn't too blown away by it or anything. Fact is, the whole genre where you have to commandeer these large-scale mechanical beings of death has never really appealed to me all that much. Now don't get me wrong, they look incredibly cool, but they've never really clicked with me personally. But what has me kind of excited for this title is the fact that FromSoftware's name is attached to the project. And over the past decade, I have become an avid fan of this company. They're pretty much my favorite game developers out there right now. Every single one of their games, specifically in the Soulsborne category, have never once missed the mark. In fact, Bloodborne, I got a little poster for it back there, is my second favorite game of all time. It is a masterpiece. And this company has proven to be a mastermind when it comes to perfecting a genre that they have so meticulously crafted and creating the pinnacle of it, if Elden Ring is anything to go by, right? That game was nothing short of remarkable. It was my favorite game last year. Everything that they have made throughout the 2010s and the early 2020s here have been nothing short of unbelievably amazing, and most if not all of these games have had Hidetaka Miyazaki as the creative genius behind them. And as I understand it, Armored Core 6 does not have Hidetaka Miyazaki returning as the creative director. I believe he did have some kind of directorial role with the game when it was starting development, but that he then handed the game off to his colleagues to finish. Regardless of whether or not he's involved in this project, I'm still looking forward to it. Like I said, I absolutely love FromSoftware now as a company, and any game that they make, Soulsborne or no, is going to have my undivided attention. Now, I don't want to say I've never played an Armored Core game before. I have a feeling I might have back when I was really young. There's this one really cool game where you could customize a variety of different mechas and take them out into these large-scale battles that I played with my older brother many years ago. I don't know if that was an Armored Core game or not, so I don't want to say with 100% certainty that I have never played an Armored Core game before, but I think Armored Core 6, for which the new gameplay trailer dropped, it might just be a great entry point for me into the series. And it's not just a game that's going to properly introduce me to this series, but it might also potentially get me invested in the whole giant robots and mechas that go to war sort of genre and actually really enjoy that for the first time a whole bunch, given that it's by FromSoftware, you know? But yeah, we're now going to check out this new gameplay trailer that just dropped for this game today. Up until now, I'm pretty sure we only had that one reveal trailer for the game in general back at the Game Awards in 2022, but this is the first time we're getting actual gameplay. So let's go. Really excited to check this out. Here we go. Space, the great frontier. Right, Bandai Namco? They're producing it.
Close to Rubicon. Wake the dog up.
Always involved in FromSoftware projects, right? Developed by FromSoftware, there they are.
Handler Walter verified. Activating cerebral coral control device.
Wonder when this game's coming out, by the way. I can't remember if we got a reveal, or I'm sorry, release date for it or not. Okay, feed the fire. Something mega uber huge is going towards this planet, or planets, plural. Multiple planets? Icy planet? Okay, yes. One thing I gotta say that's amazing about FromSoftware is that they make quality games, right? They just pour so much care and effort into what they do in order to create the greatest and most indelible possible experiences for gamers.
Augmented human C4621 has awakened.
And I'm getting like, yeah, here we go. Here's the gameplay. All right. Augmented something or another. I like the word augmented. I like being augmented. And then shooting things will augmented, which is clearly what we're doing. Let's go. Nice. Seems kind of awesome, man. Wonder how customizable our mecha is going to be. Probably a whole bunch, right? Probably going to be able to change it up a whole bunch. All right. Ooh, yeah, you can become like a literal tank. So there's a lot of like malleability, I suppose. You can like really transform into these different things on the fly to take down all these fiends. Ooh. Loving the enemy variety. Lots of snowy kind of biomes and planets, right? Kind of reminds me of Lost Planet. They're like, this is a game that I played many years ago by Capcom.
Interesting.
There's a planet in that game that reminds me a lot of what we're seeing here. Okay. Music goes kind of hard.
Priority subject for termination. High on the list.
It just seems like pure adrenaline-infused, high-octane action from start to finish. And hey, I'm all for it. Sign me up, Chief.
Why hide behind another's call
And
sign?
put me the hell in, Coach. Sometimes you just want to have a good game, you know, just like a good time. Sit back, relax. Hold down the right trigger. Blast things to hell.
How far they can fly
Ooh, that's
on
cool.
borrowed wings.
It's a cool skybox. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Okay, August 25th. Holy shit. All right, that's way closer than I thought. That's like, holy shit. 4 months, right? God damn. Okay, like, I know I keep saying this, right? But 2023 is, I just cannot say it enough. It is a loaded year for games. They just don't stop coming. Normally, you're at a point where you would wish for more games, right? You're like, oh man, I just wish there were more cool games to play. I wish more exciting games are coming out, you know? But this year has so many behemoths coming out, man, that I feel like I'm at the point where I almost want to say the opposite, which I know that's like sacrilegious shit, right? I almost want to say that, damn, there are too many games coming out. Like, let's scale that back a little, you know? But of course, I am joking. The more, the merrier. And this looks like a merry ass time. And I appreciate the confidence that this trailer exudes, right? It's one of the other reasons I absolutely love FromSoftware. They just do not waver when it comes to being confident about what it is that they're making and about to release. Because they sort of just dropped this out of the blue, you know, with the whole release date and everything, which is pretty much like 4 months away only. And I mean, at this point, like 3 months, right? But yeah, man, I'm loving what I'm seeing here. It looks like a really good time. And like I said at the start of this video, I've never been super big on this genre, but you know what? There's a first time for everything. I think this game being by FromSoftware, just the franchise in general, being by a company that over the past 10 years I have come to thoroughly love, is a great excuse to get into this series, you know? Which is why I was kind of amped to check this out today with you guys. And damn, look at this. There's even another video, Armored Core 6, FromSoftware shares story, combat, and settings details, where I suppose, like the title suggests, they're going to go into way more detail about what this game is going to be like. I'm hoping for an interview or something like that in here, but this is great. I did not know this video was up too. So let's just check this out while we're at it, shall we? Here we go. I'd love to know more about this game and, you know, the whole shebang, you know, like besides just going into combat and wrecking shit up.
What's up, everyone? My name is Mitchell Saltzman.
Is there more to the gameplay loop than kind of deploying into missions and doing that? Like what do we have to expect here?
To talk all about Armored Core 6.
I'm actually really fascinated by this game.
Hi there, I'm great, thank you. I'm Yasunori Ogura from FromSoftware, producer on Armored Core 6. It's
Hello.
great to be here.
How long has Armored Core 6 been in development, and what has it been like for FromSoftware to return to this franchise?
Yeah, good question. I'm going to pause it right here, right? I believe Armored Core was on a hiatus for a long time, right? But after the 5th one, and this is a return to the series after a very long time, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That was such a big part of the company for such a long time.
So we have been cultivating development staff through our experience with recent titles, and there were many members of staff, including Miyazaki and myself, who wanted to make a new Armored Core game.
So I was
for
aware
a
that
long
Miyazaki
time.
was involved in
So
some capacity,
really,
like I
not
said.
making a new Armored Core was never really an option.
Dude's a legend.
It was a case of when rather than if. As to the game's direction and development, in around 2018, Miyazaki and some core members of the team began initial direction.
Wow, so like half a
the
decade.
basic, core concept of
Very cool.
AC6. And after prototyping was complete, our director Yamamura took over.
So this was around the time they were working on
However, as you know,
Sekiro.
we have several projects going on at the same time within the company, so we had to get an ideal allocation of resources.
Makes sense.
We had to get the right staff on board, which resulted in a slightly longer wait.
It's
but
very
we're
cool
happy
that
to finally
this
bring
is now
the
coming back at a
to our
time
fans.
where
So, can you
the
tell us a
Soulsborne
little bit
formula
about the
has
story
peaked
of
with
Armored
Elden
Core
Ring,
6
so
and
that
whether
gets a nice little
newcomers will
rest
be able to
now,
jump
and then
right into
just
this
while we
entry if they
think
haven't played
while
any
we
of the
think
other
they're
ones?
done with everything,
This
they
is
just
a
go
brand
ham
new
on this
story
series
and
that's been
has no
asleep for a
direct
while,
link
and
to
they make it
previous
come back in the
titles.
coolest way
AC6
possible.
takes place in the future.
I'm sorry, by the way, guys. I spoke over what he asked there. I'm just gonna go back for a sec.
Right into this entry if they haven't played any of the story of Armored Core 6, and whether newcomers will be able to jump right into this entry if they haven't played any of the other ones.
Great story. This is good for me to know.
This is a brand new story and has no direct link to previous titles.
Let's go. I
AC6
love that.
Takes place in
Okay.
a future where interstellar travel is commonplace, not on Earth, but on a fictional planet in a distant star system called Rubicon 3.
Noted.
Rubicon is a devastated planet that was razed to ash in a great disaster caused by the outbreak of a mysterious new substance called coral.
Activating cerebral coral control device.
Very cool, man. Yeah, this whole trailer I was wondering, like, does this connect to the other games? Do I need to know about the other games to enjoy this one?
Before the events of the game take place.
That's a brand new story.
The game, and the story, the player learns that coral, which was thought lost in this great disaster, has been rediscovered, and extraterrestrial
Walking Dead
forces have begun an invasion race to acquire the rights to this mysterious and powerful new substance. So they are at conflict with the indigenous forces who are resisting their invasion on the planet Rubicon.
I see, okay.
And the player, as a lone independent mercenary and AC pilot, is thrust into this Rubicon war for coral.
So it's a resource war. That's really cool. I like the premise.
The setting and story are completely new, and we believe it makes a great first entry into the series.
Hell yes, dude. This is made specifically for people like me. I can really appreciate that. And it makes sense. It's been years. I'm just going to pause before you ask the next question. But yeah, it's been years since the last Armored Core game, right? And I'd imagine that now with FromSoftware's peak popularity after, you know, Elden Ring and the massive success of all their games of the Soulsborne genre and that category of games, that with all these newcomers on board who've never played Armored Core before, it would be a phenomenal idea to kind of soft reboot, right? And that's exactly what they're doing, which I can really appreciate. I think it's a phenomenal idea, man. It's brilliant.
Rubicon as a setting, is there anything that's unique about the planet that will allow for kind of unique mission structures?
Rubicon is such a cool name, by the way.
In the Armored Core series.
Yeah, that's a great question. What's the loop going to be like?
There are two things we'd like to convey to both newcomers and old hands to the series. Armored Core offers two unique game experiences. First is this dynamic, three-dimensional action that can only be achieved with mechs. And the second is the ability to customize your own personal AC by combining multiple parts and decorating it to your liking with painting and decals and the like.
Nice, let's go. The customization, painting and stuff.
Player-controlled ACs are able to fly freely through the air and handle multiple weapons simultaneously and turn on a dime, dash in different directions at once.
Yeah, this seems sick.
This makes for a dynamic and very aggressive combat style.
Yeah, there's so much versatility.
Use of the three-dimensional space, and we feel that this has always been an appeal of the Armored Core series and is an appeal of the mech action genre.
For die-hard Armored Core fans, what are the elements of Armored Core 6 that those hardcore fans are going to find appealing about this game?
Also, great question. Like, what do people love about the Armored Core series
one area
specifically?
We focused on was
what are they
to make
bringing
sure
back?
That the customization
I don't actually know.
is not just about parameters going up and down and numerical values changing, but how these changes are reflected in the feel of the action as much as possible. In particular,
so the stats.
The leg parts, which control the AC's movement, you might have a tank type legs that can perform drift turns. And this changes the very basic behavior and traversal type of the AC. We also made sure that the behavior of weapons, such as the way they shoot, how they recoil, how their projectiles behave, we tried to make sure that this all makes a big difference in how the game feels and plays.
So, speaking a little bit about that
the mecha seems so
Armored Core games
customizable.
have a bit of a reputation for being very complex, with many stats to consider, parts to swap in and out. Is there anything else that you guys are planning on doing with Armored Core 6 to make it a little more approachable for newcomers who might not be used to that level of complexity?
Yeah. All questions that I have
as you mentioned,
as a
Armored
complete
Core
noob
has always been a game with many parameters and is a game where you can enjoy the complexity and depth it offers. But we feel it's also a game where you can enjoy simply by assembling your AC without thinking too deeply about it, and adjust the appearance to your liking and simply get out there and pilot it and take it into combat. That said, in regard to new players, we've taken careful steps with the onboarding and level design in the early stages of the game.
That's fantastic.
So that players can deepen their understanding step
that
by
is
step,
so much so appreciated. I think that's great.
That fun of the more complex parts. We've also prepared a training simulator, where the
gradually ease their way into the game,
action and assembly using sample ACs, and we've also tried to make the controls more intuitive, so that we hope that those who have no experience with the series will feel free to enter and enjoy the feel of piloting their very own Armored Core.
I'm gonna pause here. If there's one thing that FromSoftware is really good at doing with their games, right? I don't know how many of the developers associated with this project have worked on the previous games in the Soulsborne category specifically, but these developers, right, and just going off of what I've experienced in every single Soulsborne game that I played, right, which is pretty much all of them, they do a phenomenal job in terms of like tutorials and early game segments to kind of allow the player to ease their way into the world, you know, get a grasp of how everything works, and then go from there. And then gradually, like, they're so good at level designing and allowing the player to, you know, understand things little by little, piece by piece, bit by bit over time, as they play through the world in a way that feels natural and organic. And so the way he's describing how they're handling that when it comes to this game sounds very familiar. And I'm actually really looking forward to that. I think that's great how they're kind of working that into Armored Core here.
Are there any lessons that you guys have learned over the many years you've spent developing the Souls games that you take into the development of Armored Core 6, even though they're kind of two very different genres?
Literally, dude, it's so great. It's like a question that's kind of similar to what I was just talking about, right? Like, they're taking the concept of, you know, tutorialization from the Soulsborne games and putting it in here, and then he literally asks, like, is there anything you learned from the Souls games they're going to be doing here? So here we go. Great question.
Armored Core 6 is an attempt to take both the knowledge and experience gained from the development of our previous titles and combine it with the fun.
Okay, so the people working on this have worked on the Souls games. It's not like a completely different team or anything.
And in this sense, we hope to create a new mech action game that is worthy of modern FromSoftware standards. Specifically, we're developing this game with an awareness of the things that FromSoftware has always embraced in its other action games, such as a intricate map structure, combat design that allows players to deal with enemies by carefully observing their movements, and the ability to overcome challenging situations with ingenuity and creativity.
Yes. Okay, fantastic.
These are all, of course, things we've kept in mind with AC6 as well.
That's so
however,
good to hear.
Mentioned, the basic format and genre of Armored Core is completely different from games in,
I love how they're
the
transferring the concept of, you know, fighting enemies and learning what their weaknesses are and everything, and trial and error to this game. That is so good to hear, man. It's one of my favorite parts about playing those games.
Design, and are there any
in the context of combat
that players should know about that perhaps didn't exist in previous Armored Core games?
In terms of points we focused on this time around, I would say that individuality of the melee weapons is one of the key points. Armored Core is mainly a shooting game at heart, and that's exactly why we had this policy of having more unique melee weapons this time around. So in addition to the well-known pile bunker and the cluster bomb launcher
melee combat
that you might have seen in the trailer, there are also a variety of weapons with different animations and more unconventional characteristics.
I like the sound of that.
Such as a chainsaw and a laser lance, and things like this. In the trailer, you may have also seen a part where the core is deployed by an AC to generate a shockwave, and the pile bunker is then used against an opponent who is reeling back from this shockwave. This kind of building combos with multiple weapons aspect is an appeal of AC6's unique assembly and combat, and we hope the players will enjoy using their creativity and asking themselves, what combination of weapons can I use to create my ideal combo attacks and secure victory?
So there's like a lot of build variety for different players.
Whether it's a mechanic or
I'm sold, man.
Or a weapon that you're particularly proud of and are excited for players to experience in Armored Core 6?
I'd like players to mostly look forward to something we touched on earlier, which is this using their ingenuity and creativity to create a combination of their own making.
Yep, just play it like it's a Lego set, you know, and go ham and experience a bunch of Soulsborne-esque combat.
Dashing
Sign me
across
up.
the battlefield while shooting ballistic weapons.
Build things differently, put things differently.
Every which direction.
Try different combinations.
Connect with their enemy, knock them off balance.
Go wild with your imagination.
Use their assault boost to dash in with a quick burst of speed and finish with a melee strike.
I didn't think I'd be this excited for this game. No lie.
Unique combination of weaponry and mobility will allow for this new aggressive, offensive style of AC combat, and we hope this is something that reinvigorates the series.
Yeah, I've never been into this genre of game before, but this has me so amped.
Multiplayer has always been a big part of the Armored Core series. Is there anything you can tell us about?
Yeah, then in that case, I feel like, yeah, I did play Armored Core, one of them many years ago.
I believe ACV
there's like a couch co-op one, if I'm not mistaken.
As the last title
Might have been the one I played with my brother.
But first of all, the main content of AC6 is
it's like in the early 2000s.
Single-player campaign mode, where you progress through a more traditional mission structure.
Mid to late.
There will be an online PvP mode where players can compete against each other with
cool.
ACs they have built and share their AC data and emblems.
Yeah, of course, that's pretty awesome.
Other users. But first and foremost,
bit of PvP stuff.
Story missions in AC6.
Never been super big on PvP multiplayer stuff, but that's cool that that's there in the game.
Mercenary lifestyle and enjoy this aspect.
Purely a PvE guy.
We do hope to share more details about the online aspect at a later date, so please stay tuned for that.
Man, like I said, I can't believe I'm this excited for this game. I thought it would be something like, it's FromSoftware. I love their games. They're pretty much my favorite developer in the business right now.
Ogura-san, thank you so much
this
for
might
your
be
time.
something neat to check out with you guys today. If I like it, that's great. If I'm not super amped about it, that's fine too. But I'm more than amped about it,
Thanks for watching, and for everything else, keep it right here.
That's so great. I love that I'm feeling this way about this game. Okay, dude, that was so cool. So yeah, I know a bunch of you out there might be wondering, yeah, earlier on in this video I said that these games don't really interest me at all, so why am I this amped now for this game, right, besides it just looking really exciting to play? I think in my particular circumstance, the specific reason for that is because I absolutely adore the Soulsborne formula and that style of game and the whole gameplay loop it incorporates and its approach to storytelling. Just the Soulsborne games, each individual one, each individual package has always hit all the right notes for me. And after seeing this interview, and I'm so glad that we did, right? After seeing this interview, I'm just really happy that they seem to be taking a lot of notes and acknowledging all the notes that they've been taking from their development time on the Soulsborne games and translating them over to this re-entry into a beloved franchise of theirs, which I've never really experienced much, or that is a part of a genre I've never been super into, and are trying to, apply all those lessons they've learned from the Soulsborne games into this new entry into that genre, right, with Armored Core 6. They're trying to take everything they've learned and apply it here to, and I have a feeling, and they acknowledge this too, right, to, appeal to newcomers to the Armored Core series, because now there are a whole bunch of new fans, right, of FromSoftware that have emerged over the past 10 years, who are probably going to want to be able to get into this series as well. Like, they're going to see, FromSoftware, that company that made this really amazing game Elden Ring. I never really played their games before that, but now, given how cool that game was, I really want to see what this game is going to be about that they're making next, these same developers. I think it's so cool here that after watching this interview, we can kind of see that they're designing a majority of what we can expect in this game for those newcomers like myself to this, series that we've never played before. The things like, for starters, right, making it a game that you don't have to have played the previous entries in this series to understand or enjoy, adopting the tutorialization and the level structure of the Soulsborne games, and also the way you engage with enemies, right? So little things like that, when you combine them, right, when you amalgamate those, you get an experience that is a completely different coat of paint, but has a lot of DNA of the Soulsborne games that so many people, including myself, absolutely adore in it, which is very much so worth looking forward to. So I'm really excited for Armored Core 6 now, you guys. Can't wait to see more news on this game. And this is amazing. We got yet another game to look forward to in 2023, which isn't even on my list of things to look forward to before, right? Before we checked out this gameplay trailer and the interview with the producer on. So hell yeah, hope you guys are excited too. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this reaction video, you guys, please be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And expect to see way more of these kind of videos on the line, on top of reviews, let's plays, and so much more. But until the next one, you guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, and as always, keep on keeping on.